your presence. To my knees will I fall, will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak it all? I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in awe of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? To my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak it all? I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I can only imagine when all I will do is forever, forever worship you. I can only imagine.
Maybe you remember as a kid the anticipation of going on a trip. You just kept thinking about it and couldn't wait to get there. Whatever the trip was, you were just excited that you couldn't hardly stand it. I remember the very first time we took our girls driving them to Disney World. They had heard about it. They had read about it. They'd seen it on TV. Then all those things and all this anticipation was building and building. And we finally arrived. And how it was awesome just to watch their faces light up as we got to the, quote, happiest place on earth. It's also called the most expensive place on earth. But oftentimes we as adults are really the same way. We have what could be called a before vacation attitude. You ever had one of those? Before you go on vacation, you're excited, you know you're going away, your mood gets better, everything changes, you do a vacation dance, you just can't wait to go on vacation. Maybe you even handle the things of life a little better. You can handle a little stress at work better because you know on Saturday you're getting out of town, you're doing that. But the problem is we don't always have a vacation to look forward to. Therefore, our attitude's not always that positive in life. As a matter of fact, some Christian people, their attitude stinks. Things are not always that easy to handle. We don't have something to look forward to. We're not always that cheerful in life, and sometimes there's not much joy in our hearts, in our lives, in our eyes. And so for me and for you and for us to make it through this life with this victory that Christ has promised us, we need something to keep us going. We need something to look forward to. We need something, as Peter calls in his very first letter, a living hope. And so we need a hope that we can find that won't perish, it won't spoil, won't fade away. And as Jesus points us to that hope, it's called heaven. It's called heaven. Let me read to you Hebrews chapter 11. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 13 says this: these all died in faith. Who? Who are these? The whole chapter is the hall of faith. It's talking about all these people who have had faith, who have lived for Christ all through up until this time. So these all have died in faith. They haven't received the promises, but having seen them afar off, were assured of them, embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. For those who say such things declare plainly that they seek a homeland. And truly, if they had called to mind that country from which they had come out, they would have had opportunity to return. But now, they desire a better, that is, a heavenly country. Therefore, God is not ashamed to be called their God, for He has prepared a city for them. We've sung about all those things: a city, a country, a homeland, a place called heaven. And so these people, these believers in faith, didn't have the things that they promised, but they knew one day they would get those things. Today, if you're a Christian, I want to give you something to look forward to. I want to give you and show you how to have a before vacation attitude about your life. Maybe you need something rekindled in your life. Maybe you've been far away from God and need to come back, and something needs to rekindle that. If you're not a Christian, I pray that the hope that you can receive in Christ will move you to accept Christ, and that you'll realize what that living hope is, what we're about to talk about in heaven. What's it going to be like? What's heaven going to be like? A Sunday school teacher asked her class of children, tell me what you think heaven's going to be like. She got all kinds of answers, and we don't have time to look at all those answers, but my favorite one was this. The little third grade boy said this, heaven is going to be the happiest part of my dead life. That's true. That's true. So, the subject of heaven has some difficulty we got to deal with. It has some challenges because we're a different culture. We're perhaps a more different culture than any culture that has ever lived in history. We think we're better, but are we? We think we're smarter, but are we? If you look back and study the civilizations from the past, you'll discover that virtually every culture has been concerned about the afterlife, about what happens to you after you die. The ancient Egyptians spent years and years building pyramids. As a matter of fact, Jewish slaves probably helped build some of those pyramids. They buried their loved ones in those pyramids, especially if you were royalty, with abundant supplies of food and clothing and other valuable articles because they believed in life after death. They needed to take those with them into the next life. The Catsup Indians in the northwest part of America back in the early 1800s, when they would bury their dead, they would bury them in a canoe. They would lay them in a canoe. And in that canoe, they would lay all their worldly belongings, all their clothes, all their jewelry, all their hunting paraphernalia, all they had, and then they would put another canoe on top and lower them into the earth, hoping that that would push them. They would float into the afterlife. It doesn't seem to make any difference what culture you study. It's always been true. It's always been true that people are focused on the life after here, the afterlife, except until today. Our culture doesn't. We're probably the first culture in history that seems to be more concerned with the here and now than in the future. What benefits me here and now? What can help me here and now? What makes me happy here and now? I want it all. I want it now. I want everything I can possibly get to make me happy. Well, we ought to be concerned about that. We ought to be teaching our children that this is not our home. This is not what's going to make you happy for 70, 80, 90 years. When you think of all of eternity for years and years and years. We ought to be concerned with the issues that affect our life. Sure, Jesus said, I came to give you life and give it to you more abundantly, but He came to give you more than that. He came to give you eternal life. And so the Bible teaches that what we do today is extremely important. Why? Because it determines what we're going to go, where we're going to go tomorrow. The future. Jesus asked this, if you gain the whole world and lose your soul, what profit is that? You have all the money, all the education, all the wisdom in the world. But if you lose your soul, there's no profit. So if we're focusing all our efforts on gaining the world, but in the process of getting it, we lose our soul, we've lost everything. So as we've sung about heaven, and we've focused on heaven, I want to give you a little bit of a different perspective about eternal life. And so I want to share briefly with you 10 phenomenal benefits of heaven. 10 phenomenal benefits of heaven. Here's the first one. And you'll like this one. We get a new body. We get a new body. 1 Corinthians 15:50 says this, now I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God, nor does corruption inherit incorruption. Behold, I tell you a mystery. We shall not all sleep. It's talking about dying. But we all shall be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. For the trumpet will sound, the dead will be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible has put on incorruption, and this mortal has put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. What's he talking about? I'm corruptible. I'm corrupted. I'm a sinner. Sinners don't step into heaven. My body is corrupted. Got some problems, got some issues. 1 John 3:2 says, beloved, we are children of God. It has not yet been revealed what we shall be, but we know that when He is revealed, we shall be like Him, for we shall see Him as He is. Paul says another thing in 2 Corinthians 5. While we live in this earthly tent, we groan with a feeling of oppression. It's not that we want to get rid of our earthly body, but that we want to have a heavenly one put on over us so that what is mortal will be transformed by life. So in heaven, we get a new body. If we're honest, we'd have to admit that living in this body is not so great. Our earthly body gets tired. It feels pain. It gets sick. And with age, what does it do? It moves slower. It sags. Our eyes dim. Our ears dull. Things to begin to fall out, like your teeth and your hair. And most people are not really happy with their body anyway. How do I know that? Billions and billions of dollars are spent every year to cover up, to lift up, to make up, and to change the flaws in our body. In heaven, we don't need to do that anymore. We get a new body. A better body. An eternal body. One that doesn't get tired and feel pain and get sick. One that doesn't sag and fall out. We get a new body. Secondly, we get to live in a custom-built house. We get to live in a custom-built house. Mike read a minute ago the John passage, and Jesus said, you don't have to be troubled. Don't worry about it. I've taken care of you. In my Father's house are many mansions. Now, for years and years and years, I always heard, I get my own mansion. That's pretty cool. That's really translated apartment. Hate to disappoint you, but it's an apartment. Maybe it's a big apartment. Maybe it's a New York City style big apartment on Park Avenue. I don't know. But Jesus said, I go there, and I'm going to prepare it for you. Hebrews 11:10 says, for Abraham waited for the city which has foundations, whose builder and maker is God. Now, there's no such thing in this life as a perfect house. Your house, doesn't matter how old it is, begins to be like all houses. It has creaks and cracks and cobwebs and costly repairs. There's mortgage and insurance and plumbing problems, AC issues, electrical issues, and it constantly needs cleaning and painting and fixing. Right? Your house. But God's house is perfect. There's no paint stores there. Nothing needs to be redone, remodeled, fixed up. It's all set for you. How long did it take God to build the planet and creation? The Bible says 6 days. How long has it been since Jesus has been there preparing a place for you? 2,000 years. That's going to be a nice house. That's going to be a pretty nice apartment. Be a nice apartment. We can call it a mansion. That's good. Third benefit of heaven is this. We get to eat great food. We get to eat great food. I alluded to that a minute ago. Anybody here like to eat? Yeah, I've seen some of you eat. I know you like to eat. We like to eat. But lots of people like to eat. You go to a restaurant, you got to wait in line, you got to wait to be seated, you got to wait to whatever. So, good food. And I've been to some really good restaurants. I'm going to try to make you hungry as I possibly can here in the next few minutes. Steak, seafood, buffets. But I have my favorite place to go. You probably do too. I also have my favorite food. If any of you wanted to know that and wanted to fix that for me, I'm going to tell you what it is. It's not out of a can. It's not frozen. It's chicken and dumplings. Homemade chicken and dumplings. So if you make good homemade chicken and dumplings, call me. Okay? My wife makes fantastic chicken and dumplings. Her uncle, who passed away last week, taught her. He made the best chicken and dumplings ever. He taught her how to do it. So she makes great chicken and dumplings. So how do I know we'll get to eat in heaven? Well, the Bible says that. Matthew 8:11 says this, I say to you that many will come from the east and from the west and will take their places at the feast with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. What feasts? The one we just read about a minute ago. The marriage supper of the Lamb. Revelation 19:9. Blessed are those who are invited to the wedding supper of the Lamb. I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to taking part in the mother of all buffets when I step into heaven and enjoy that. And we get to sit there and enjoy it with those who come before us. So remember your new body. Here's a good thing about eating. Your new body is not going to be a sinful body. It will not be overweight. There will not be any overeating. Just eat till you want to stop. And so in getting a new body and living in a perfect home and eating great food, there's another benefit. We get to interact with Bible characters. We get to interact with people from the Bible. People from the Bible, the Scriptures. For years we've heard of them, we read about them, maybe even imagined as a kid we were like them, and when we get to heaven we'll get to meet them. We get to talk with them. Hebrews 11, as I told you a minute ago, tells us of some who are there. We'll get to ask David. Won't that be interesting? David, tell me about the story of you and Goliath. Tell me that story. I've read about the story, but you tell me, David. I want to hear it. We get to ask Noah, Noah, what in the world was it like to build this huge boat, this huge ark? Moses, tell me about the Red Sea. And when you walked up to that sea with 1 million Israelites fleeing from the Egyptians, tell me, what was that like to hear those waters pull back? Moses, tell me that. Daniel, what was it really like in that lion's pit? And those lions could have devoured you. What was it like? Did you pet them? Did you say, here, kitty, kitty, and make them tame? How did that work, Daniel? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, what was it like in that fiery furnace? Mary, tell me about the first story of Jesus. All the apostles are there, except for Judas. I don't think he's there. But ask them, what was it like to walk with Jesus and see his healing and see his miracles? Who are you looking forward to talking with? Not only that, we'll have a reunion with our loved ones there. A reunion with our loved ones there. 1 Thessalonians 4:13 says, I don't want you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning those who have fallen asleep, those who have already died, lest you sorrow as others who have no hope. You don't have to worry about them. For if we believe that Jesus died and rose again, even so God will bring with him those who sleep in Jesus. For this we say to you by the word of the Lord, that we who are alive and remain until the coming of the Lord will by no means precede those who are asleep. For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of an archangel, with the trumpet of God. The dead in Christ will rise first, and then we who are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And thus we shall always be with the Lord. What's that? That's the rapture. That's what we believe is the rapture. What's the rapture? It's when Jesus is preparing to come back. And he says it's time. And he comes back. And the graves start to shake. And the bodies begin to come out. The seas open up all the dead that are in them. All those ashes that have been scattered all over the world of people who have been cremated will come back together and they'll go to heaven. If you're alive when that happens, you'll go too. But those who are already there, I'm looking forward to being with my loved ones again, aren't you? Those who are already gone before me and those who are with me now that are going to be there too. The reunions are going to be powerful. Brothers and sisters and moms and dads and aunts and uncles and grandparents and children, all there for all of eternity together with the Lord. It's unlike any family reunion you've ever been to. Let me tell you this, it's better than any family reunion you've ever been to. Who do you long to see? I can't wait to see my grandmother. She taught me the power of prayer. She taught me the love of hymns, the strength of love, the joy of life, the relationship of friends. And I just can't wait to see her. Grandmother, show me around. Show me around heaven. You say, well, Pastor, are we going to know people there? Absolutely. God created you as an individual, and your personality is tied to your soul. We don't get a memory wipe when we go to heaven. God doesn't take away your memory. As a matter of fact, our minds and our bodies will be perfected. We'll have no trouble recognizing people we know, even their names. I have trouble sometimes with names. What's your name? Not then. I'll know, and you'll know those people. We'll know them. They'll know us. What are we going to do? We're going to bow before Almighty God and praise His name. By the way, the Bible never says that when people die, they become angels. You hear people say that all the time. Oh, so-and-so died and now they're an angel. So-and-so died and now they got their wings. So-and-so is an angel. My baby's an angel. That's not true. The Bible never says that. Listen, you don't want to become an angel. If you get to heaven, you got there by the blood of Jesus Christ. So we remain human. And with our personality and our personhood that God gave us. So you don't become an angel. You stay who you are, the way God created you. If He wanted you to be an angel, He would have made you an angel. but He made you who you are. Here's another benefit. We get to live in a perfect world. A perfect world. This world is so messed up. We've seen it in the last few weeks on television, in the news. The world is so messed up. In Revelation 21, we read where John gets a vision from heaven coming down from the sky. It's so incredible, he can't even begin to describe it. He starts trying to describe it, starts trying to write it down, and he's limited by the vocabulary that he can't even explain what it is that he's seeing. But he tells us this heavenly city is surrounded by high protective walls, the foundations of which are made of precious stones. He says the city itself of heaven is made of pure, transparent gold and jasper. And that the 12 gates are symbolic of the city's access and the openness, and are constructed of, the gates are of 12 large pearls. But the gates are not closed. They're open. He says that this city, there's no need for a temple, for God and His Son are there. There's no churches there. There's no temple there. He also says there's no need for the sun, S-U-N, because God's Son is the glory and the brightness and the illumination. There's no night. There's no darkness. And through that city flows the river of life. It's clear as crystal. It's the source coming from the very throne of God. And this is strange to me. Along its banks grows the tree of life. And it yields 12 different monthly fruits. That's a pretty good fruit of the month club, isn't it? 12 different fruits are growing along the bank, and they're all from one tree. It will be a perfect place to live. Creation, which has suffered because of the fall, will be restored for mankind. Paradise will be regained. All that was lost to man in his first home here because of sin will be returned to you 100-fold. Heaven's going to be an incredible, perfect world, the world you've always dreamed of. Here's another benefit. Because of the no mores. Because of the no mores. That's a benefit. What's a no more? When I was in college, many times it was the no mores that got me through. The hope of the no mores that kept me going. What am I talking about? No more math class. No more tests. No more getting up to go to early 7:45 class. No more fighting for a parking lot. No more college. Praise the Lord for no mores. And so when you and I get to heaven, there's going to be some awesome no mores. Those no mores should really inspire us. They should keep us going and keep us living, have this living hope. Revelation 7:16 tells us about it. There shall be neither hunger anymore, nor thirst anymore. The sun shall not strike them, nor any heat. For the Lamb who is in the midst of the throne will shepherd them and lead them to living fountains of waters, and God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. No more tears. No more tears. I know there's a baby shampoo that says no more tears. Heaven says no more tears. No more sadness. Revelation 21 says God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. Again, he says that there shall be no more death, nor sorrow, nor crying. There shall be no more pain, for the former things have passed away. Isn't that great? No more pain. No arthritis, no heart issues, no head issues, no strokes, no diabetes, no cancer. No more pain. The no mores. But he says this. You know what's not in heaven? The cowardly, the unbelieving, the abominable, the murderers, the sexual immoral, the sorcerers, the idolaters, and liars shall not have part in heaven. But they shall have their part in the lake which burns with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. In other words, there's no more sin there. I'm not going to sin anymore. No more sin. Verse 27 says, there shall by no means enter into it anything that defiles or causes an abomination or a lie, but only those who are written in the Lamb's book of life. Who are those? Followers of Christ, who've invited Christ into their life. Those who are saved, we say. So, no more hunger, no more thirst, no more scorching heat, no more tears, no more crying, no more bad guys, no more pain, no more impure things. Those are the no mores. No more. It will also be number 8, the last time that we fall. The last time that we fall. Have you ever fallen down? Hurt your knee? Did you do that as a kid and your mommy kissed your boo-boo? gave you a Band-Aid, and went on back out to play. Paul talks about his fall. Romans chapter 7, he says this. We just read this as we were in Romans, but he says, I don't understand myself at all, for I really want to do what's right, but I can't do it. I do what I don't want to do, what I hate to do. I know perfectly well what I'm doing is wrong, and my bad conscience proves that I agree with the laws that I'm breaking. No matter which way I turn, I can't make myself do right. He says, I can't quit sinning. The Apostle Paul says, I can't quit sinning. I want to, but I can't. When I want to do good, I don't. And when I try not to do wrong, I do it anyway. It seems to be part of life, Paul says. What a terrible wretch, he says, I am. What a terrible predicament I'm in. Who will free me, he says, from the slavery of this deadly body? Thank God, he says, it's been done by Jesus Christ our Lord. He has set me free from sin. You ever feel like Paul? I do. I find myself doing the things I don't want to do and not doing the things that I should be doing. I know I'm saved by grace, and I thank God for that. And yes, I know the blood can and wash away all my stain, all my sin, all my issues, but I get tired of falling. I get tired of failing.